Hello all and welcome to this short video where I'm going to explain what the changes are to the certification for Certified and Endorsed System Integrator. My name is Jasper Zonnevan, I'm the Partner Manager for AVEVA Select Benelux, and there are a few things I'm going to discuss today. First of all, I will start with the program change overview. Second topic will be the changes that AVEVA made to certifications. Third topic of the day is changes to reference deployments. And we finish off with how to manage certifications and the timeline to make sure your certifications are all right. Let's start with the first topic, so the program change overview. As you know, AVEVA has 3 partner tiers. The first partner level is the member level. You are a member when you have an active AVEVA development package subscription. This is your demo license. And if you have signed the APIMA document, which is the AVEVA Partner Ecosystem Member Agreement. Previously, this was called the SI Agreement. The second level is certified. You are a certified partner when you have 1 or more certified employee and when you have submitted a reference deployment. And then the third level, which can also be seen as our gold partners, are the endorsed partners. This program is upon invitation only, and this is the highest partner level. It brings some extra things that you need to do. You need, for example, 4 certified engineers, and we need to do a quarterly business review every quarter. So AVEVA made some changes to this partner program, and especially the requirements for certified and endorsed partners. The main change impact is on the 2 highlighted rows. So the reference deployments and the number of certified partner professionals. In the previous situation, a certified system integrator needed 2 product certifications on company level and had to submit 2 reference deployments to be promoted from member to certified. In the new situation, you need only 1 certified engineer, but it is on individual engineer level, so no longer on company level. Next to this, they are going to check better whether the version where you are certified on is the right version. So it is valid for the current or the previous version, and in the case of SaaS offers, it is valid for 2 years. An example of a SaaS offer is, for example, Connect. When it comes to reference deployments, in the previous situation, you needed to submit a reference deployment to get your initial certified status. So you needed to submit 2 reference deployments, which are projects that you executed and where you describe what you did with which products. Now, AVEVA is going to ask to submit a reference deployment every year. And the end customer must confirm satisfaction with deployment results. So why are these changes happening? There are basically 3 principles for this transformation. First of all is simplicity. AVEVA wants to become easier to do business with. So they want to have straightforward, simple certification requirements and self-service access to those certifications. The second one is consistency. So what we see now is that there are multiple rules that are applied to certification. They now create a single baseline where everybody needs to live up to. And the third one is alignment. So they want to align certification requirements among different portfolio areas. What we saw in the previous situation is that there were some differences between one product and another and the way you needed to certify. Now there is one line, again, that everybody needs to live up to. So what are these new conditions? Basically, there are 6 big changes. The first one is the certification paths. So there are 9 brand new certification paths that you can achieve. The required exams, so they are no longer, as I said, on company level, but now they're on individual engineer level. The third one is accepted exam versions. So current and previous versions are valid, or if it's a SaaS offer, it is valid for 2 years. Then going to the right bottom corner, the types of certification. So you can now be certified on product and solutions. And I will explain in a minute what the difference between these 2 is. For the reference deployments, there are two changes. First of all is the frequency, so one reference deployment per year. And the second one is the reference scope. So now also upgrade projects are allowed, and you can apply multiple projects in a single reference project. Second topic of today, the changes to certifications. Before we start, I need to make very clear that a certification is not the same as a training. I see that sometimes there is some unclarity around these words, certification and training. It's like going to school and graduating. So a training, if you do a training at AVEVA Select, can be Benelux, can be Scandinavia, can be any other AVEVA Select, you get a certificate of participation. This is usually a multi-day training course where you get trained by an experienced professional, a colleague of mine, to teach you how to work with the product. The certification is an official AVEVA exam that you need to take. So it's a multiple choice exam that usually takes a few hours, and as a result you get the certificate of achievement. The biggest difference between the two is that a certification counts for your status as system integrator, so certified or endorsed, and a training does not. Of course, both have impact on your skill set and the way you can do a project, but the certification counts for your partner status. To finish off, of course, training is highly recommended before taking an exam. So we recommend to always follow a training before you do the exam in order to make you succeed faster. Let me walk you through each of the individual changes, starting with the certification paths. There are now 9 product certification paths. To maintain your SI status as certified, you need at least 1 product certification. For endorsed system integrators, this is 4 product certifications. If I put on the screen the table with the new certification paths, and this table does not show all of them, it shows the difference between the old requirements and the new requirements. Let me please look at the last row in the table. It shows AVEVA System Platform. So in the previous situation, in order to get an AVEVA System Platform certification, you needed to have application server, historian server, and InTouch or OMI. Now you need application server and OMI, so only 2. What we also see is that historian is now a separate product track. So in order to get historian certified, you need to achieve the exam for historian server and historian client. Then finally, there are quite some changes in the MES certification. So in the previous ruling, there were 3 certificates that you could achieve for AVEVA MES. Those were operations, performance, and model-driven MES. Now there's only 1 track available, which is the AVEVA model-driven MES track. And in order to get model-driven MES certified, you need to pass the exam Introduction to Model-Driven MES, MES Operations, MES Performance, and MES Quality. Also, InTouch is now a separate product track. A few are missing, but I will come back to them later. As I mentioned, next to product certification, it is now also possible to certify on solution level. Solutions replace the previously called programs. An example of a program was the Enterprise SCADA certification. At the moment, we have a few solutions available within the AVEVA portfolio, of which composable MES is, I think, the best example. So you can get certified on the product MES by having those 4 exams that I mentioned before. In order to get certified on composable MES, you need to pass also the advanced model-driven MES exam. On the right, you can see all the tracks. So we have mobile operator, we have predictive analytics, enterprise SCADA, unified supply chain, and more solutions will be added in the future. Please be aware that solutions do not impact your partner status. Product certifications do. Next topic. Required exams and accepted versions. So if you compare it to the old situation, certification happened on company level. An example of a valid certification is shown on the screen. So person 1 has application server and historian server, and person 2 has InTouch. Those 2 persons combined were valid certified system platform. In the new situation, it is on individual engineer level. So in the example, there's work to be done to keep the certification. Person 1 needs OMI to get system platform certified and historian server to achieve the historian certification, because they are now split. Person 2 is now InTouch certified, because that's only one exam, and needs to pass application server and OMI to get system platform certified. Next to this, already mentioned it, the exam versions. So exams are valid for the last 2 major releases of a product. Usually the AVEVA does a major release every 3 years. So in case of system platform, for example, it is valid if you have an exam passed for version 23 or 20. If you have a version 2017, you need to recertify. AVEVA will notice you, and you will need to do a recertification exam, which is shorter than the initial certification exam. If we look into planned SCADA, and previously called SiteAct, there are some important changes there to mention, because SiteAct is considered as a different product than planned SCADA. So every engineer that has an old SiteAct certification should recertify on planned SCADA in order to get that certification. For planned SCADA, there are 4 exams. We have configuration, workspace, architecture and redundancy, and finally programming with SciCode. So how to certify? To certify, you need to log in to the Learning Academy. First step is to go to learningacademy.aveva.com. Your engineers can sign up for free on this website. The second step is to navigate to the certification paths. In the header of the website or the portal, there is certification paths, and if you click that, you end up at the page that is displayed at the screen. On the left, you see all the products and solution tracks that you can certify on. So you can choose which one you need to do. If you choose a product, in this case I chose System Platform, I see on the right bottom corner the certification exams that I need to take. You can enroll in the required exams for free, and you can take them as much as you need, with small time in between. If you pass the exams, you get a badge. And your badge can be displayed on both LinkedIn and is also valid for your partner status. In this example, we see the badge for the System Platform Certified Professional. Final update on certifications is that the exams are now also available in more languages. So if you want to take the exam in French, or if you want to take it in English or in Dutch, that's now also available. Next topic, changes to reference deployments. There are 2 changes that have taken place on reference deployments. First of all is the frequency, and the second is the scope. It is now required to share at least 1 reference deployment per year with AVEVA. As I mentioned before, in the previous situation, it was the case that in order to get certified, you needed to submit 2 reference projects, and then you never had to do that again. Now AVEVA is going to ask every year for a new reference project. That's something we can help you with as AVEVA Select Benelux. There are a few conditions to the reference project. So first of all, the project must be completed and accepted by the end user within the previous 12 months. Important to mention here is that this is not a public reference, this is a private reference. So it's a form that you fill in, that you send to AVEVA, but none of this information needs to be made public. It's all confidential. For solutions, the rule of 24 months apply. AVEVA software upgrades and or expansions for existing deployments may be acceptable if proven substantial involvement by the system integrator. You need to spend at least 40 hours on the project, but it is allowed to submit a project where you did an upgrade at a customer. Please be aware that the same project cannot be submitted more than once in consecutive years. So if you do an upgrade and the next year you do this, another upgrade at the same customer, you cannot submit that project twice. Finally, if you fill in the form, you send it to ecosystem cert@aveva.com. They reply with passed or not passed, and then you have your yearly reference document. So that's it with regards to the reference, frequency, and scope. On this slide, I show you a little bit of the form that you need to fill in. It's a brand new form. It looks a little bit like the initial form that was used in the past. But what's important to mention here is that you can combine multiple projects in a single reference deployment. So in order to stay or get certified, you need to have at least one engineer that has his certification and at least one product reference deployment for that same product that you need to submit. But if you, for example, have a project where you do both historian and system platform, and maybe even also MES, you can submit that as a single project. If that's not the case, you need to submit multiple projects in order to remain product certified. It will be visible publicly if you have submitted your reference projects and if you have any certified engineers. AVEVA has renewed the Partner Finder last summer, and in the Partner Finder it is publicly visible for everybody where you are certified on and whether you have submitted any reference projects. Then, to finish off, managing certifications and the timeline that you have. First of all, we're currently in a transition period. So AVEVA first announced changes in the partner program at AVEVA World Conference in 2024. And in September of this year, so we're talking about 2025, they brought live the new requirements for certifications. On 16th of October, the new requirements were announced in a webinar to existing partners. This is a short version of that. AVEVA gives all partners until July 2026, so that's the grace period, to make sure certifications are set correct. So everything will be all right. If you do not meet the new requirements before that date or after that date, it can be that your status will be degraded. So please be aware that this is something I will work with you on, or your partner manager will work with you on, in order to get the certification right. We will let you know who are certified, what are the gaps, and we make a plan together to make sure everything will be okay. Then my final slide. These insights in who are certified, who have taken exams, who are trained, are also visible for system integrator administrators. SI admins have access to what we call the ecosystem portal. And they can edit the info that's in the Partner Finder. Make sure that all the employees that are working for you are registered under your correct system integrator number. What you can see in the portal is which products you do, and you can edit that. You can edit your company information that's publicly visible. You can see the trained employees and the certified employees. The screenshot shows an example of certified employees, and here we see that we have 4 people that have passed the certification exams. What you cannot see is who failed the exams, so you can only see who succeeded. You can see what they succeeded on, and you can also see when they succeeded. This is for you to manage the certifications. That was my final slide. Thank you for listening. I hope everything becomes clear now. We will be working with you to make sure the certifications and reference deployments are according to the new requirements. And we will reach out to you soon to discuss the plan to make sure everything is all right. Again, thank you for listening, and hope to see you soon.